it's Vic Jagger from the nationally syndicated Russ Parr Morning Show. And I have been a radio personality for about 9 years now. It'll be 10 in October. But I started off as an intern. Many people don't count that, but I count that because I was really working hard as an intern. And I interned for a year. After that, I got hired. So it shows you how hard I was working. And I graduated from the University of DC. I majored in TV production, which, you know, I kind of want to put it to use. I like being behind the scenes, but then I like being in front of the camera too. And it's kind of crazy that I ended up in radio. So it all works out for a reason. I kind of fell in love with radio. What sparked my passion for hip hop? I would say when I was a little girl, you know how your family would have like house parties? Well, my mom and dad had like card parties every Friday night. Okay, and I was the little kid that, okay, I want to entertain everybody. So one instance I remember, I heard Chuck Rock, Treat 'Em Right. When I tell you I made everybody look at me, I was dancing around and I did the snake all the way to the ground, okay? And it was just like, you know, hip hop was in me, and the music, it still lives in me, I guess you could say, because every time I hear a song, I want to be that little girl entertaining and, you know, showing people like, hey, I can dance to this. But yeah, I would think that that sparked my passion for hip hop, and it's just so crazy that I ended up working at a hip hop station for as long as I have. Okay, so how would I define my relationship with hip hop? Okay, first of all, I would say that I have a love-hate relationship with hip hop because, you know, it goes kind of like through a wave, like a cycle. Like you have one style where it's all dance, you know, stanky leg and, you know, dances like that. And then you have the bounce beat where it's like stripper music. And so I think it's more about the beat now, and it's less about the message per se, because I don't think we really listen to the words a lot of times, because a lot of times I've been at work and I have been bouncing to songs like, yes, I love it. And then when I really sit and listen to the words, I'm like, oh, I didn't know that they said that. Is my child really singing that? No, but I love hip hop. I love the strides that it's taking right now, and it's like breaking barriers. You know, like everybody, I watched a YouTube video and it was just amazing to see like people in China, people in Germany, people in Africa really like loving hip hop and becoming artists and trying to put their music out as well. So, you know, I go through a period, you know, where I'm like, this is like the same old. But then there are times I'm like, yes, like hip hop is back. Jay-Z and Kanye West definitely brought hip hop back with Watch the Throne album. That's like one of my favorite albums out now. And let's see, am I a casual listener? I'm an avid fan of hip hop, I would say, because, you know, I work at a hip hop station, so I have to research music, I have to research artists, and, you know, it's kind of exciting to see all the new music that is coming out, because I can see what's coming up next, and to get that music and that message out to all of our listeners, about 3.2 million listeners, you know, to get that music to them and to have them give us feedback for it. It's like a great feeling. It's a great experience. And how would I define hip hop? I would say that hip hop is more about the message. What is hip hop? Hip hop is about the message. It's about storytelling. I don't look for the beat as much, you know, with artists. Like, I try to listen to what they do say. The beat kind of captures you, but if they have a message and they're telling a story and it's touching a culture, you know, that is true hip hop. There's a big difference between rap and hip hop. You know, that's a big discussion and a big debate, but there is a difference. And I think true hip hop You know, you feel that message, you take something away from it, and you can listen to that over and over again, and sometimes causes you to make change, you know, within your city or within the state, world, whatever, you know. Alright, so what are my thoughts on old school hip hop versus new school hip hop? Well, old school hip hop more so had a message. I mean, like, their entire song was like a cause for something. You have Public Enemy, you know, like, they really wanted to touch the people. And I think even more so, like, now, new school hip hop, they talk about kind of the same things: money, cars, clothes, balling. It's a lot of music about that right now. And I think back in the day, even if they did have money, they were more concerned with the people that listen to their music and how they're struggling. So they made songs that kind of catered to them. Nowadays, it's about that lifestyle, that high rolling lifestyle, and I think that everybody is trying to achieve that. They're kind of bringing it back to the people now and kind of saying, okay, I came from this and you can't come up too. So there is a difference, and I think that a lot of songs now, they go back to old school. And they have their beats, you know what I mean? They use samples from older records. So it kind of, old school is still here if you listen to the music. Like, they just use their beats. Alright, so what are some of hip-hop's most important contributions? Hip-hop has contributed so much to the world, where you have people wanting to dress, dance, even speak like hip-hop. You have artists like Jay-Z who can tell you to not drink this, or to dress like this, or this is whack, and people do it. People stop wearing certain clothes or stop drinking certain brands. You have Diddy, who's the #1 artist, like, drinks are up, and people are flocking to it. You know, hip-hop has such a huge influence over our culture, as well as, you know, the world. You have hip-hop artists performing at the White House. You know, they're breaking so many barriers. You have T.I., Jeezy, Master P, Diddy, Jay-Z, even Dr. Dre. They're all business owners. Dr. Dre has his own line of headphones. They're like multi-millionaire business owners, and they're owning teams. They're owning companies' clothing lines, cologne. You know, hip-hop has really taken flight, I should say, and has evolved into so much more than music now. You have female hip-hop artists who are breaking records and breaking barriers. Missy, Nicki Minaj hit the scene and just blew up. Like, everybody was doing the whole Barbie thing. You had chicks walking around with pink hair and blue lipstick. Like, she had such an influence and took hip-hop over, like, from a female standpoint, and kind of like made her mark. Jay-Z has sold more #1 albums than Elvis, okay? Elvis had 10, Jay-Z had 11. So hip-hop has made so many major contributions to the world and has indeed shaped it. So what are some of the misconceptions about hip-hop? Well, #1, a lot of people think that hip-hop artists are just disrespectful men who go around calling women bees. Like, no. I've met a lot of artists, you know, who've come through the station, and these guys are super sweet, nice guys. Like, they don't just run up and like, hey, B, what up? Like, no. They're super nice. Another misconception is that hip-hop plays a big role in the violence in a lot of cities and in a lot of kids. No, trust me. Your child was bad before he started listening to hip-hop music, or your city was already, you know, violent before hip-hop came along and made whatever song you feel like contributed to robberies and, you know, fighting. And no, hip-hop did not have that much influence, you know, over that. And another misconception is that hip-hop artists are not educated. I've come to learn that a lot of these guys have degrees. They actually went back to school. Plies, David Banner, Lil Wayne. A lot of hip-hop artists are educated. They're well-spoken. You know, you would think that their songs kind of come off like, okay, how's he gonna, you know, articulate this? Or I wonder what he thinks about the election coming up. And, you know, they all have their own opinions and can speak well about it. Go figure. Another misconception about females in hip hop is that they're difficult, and you know, they're not really about their business. They're just about the glitz, the glamour, the Christian Louboutins, and you know, things like that. When Nicki Minaj pretty much put that to rest, because she's about her business. And the thing is, I think she gets kind of like the bad rep, like, oh, she's a B, but no, she's handling her business. Hey you, welcome to BET. I'm Big Jagger, coming to you live from NYC, and here to bring you the hottest new videos across the nation. Now, our next artist pretty much put DC back on the map since Doing the Butt. Remember that? Recently signed to Maybach Music Group and just starting his own label. Here's Wale featuring Miguel with Lotus Flower Bomb.